So what's up, guys? Welcome back to the iherng podcast. And today we have a friend, right? Oh, I just got to know that you are from Ipoh.
Oh, yes, I am.
So I am from Ipoh too, but it's been a while since I left. 4 years old, I left.
Oh, okay lah. Still have that.
Yeah, I go there only for got Ipoh face.
People famous Ling Chai Ling Lui ma.
I agree. But anyway, we have cafe here. So we met in a common friends dinner, right? Then his occupation is pretty interesting. And I thought now, since it's the official New Year, it's so blurred, right? It's like World Cup, right after World Cup, then you have Christmas, then you have New Year, less than a month, then Chinese New Year, right?
Yep, totally, man.
Then yesterday was Federal Territory Day. Next week is going to be Taipusam. When officially people going to start, right? That's why I got him in to talk about it. So you want to introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi everyone. So my name is Cafe. People know me as Coach Cafe. You can find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Coach Cafe. I am a peak performance coach and also a corporate trainer and a keynote speaker. So what I do is I basically do coaching, training for corporations and individuals in different parts of the world. So before this, pre-COVID, obviously, I travel a lot to deliver keynote on, coaching, talent development, people development, how people can become better leaders and so on in different parts of the world.
Instantly, the energy, right? One is like so laid back, and then one is like, okay, let's go, right? So, okay, that's why, like, first of all, how you got into this occupation, I think that is like, no one actually graduate and think about, I want to train people.
Good point. And I think similarly, probably just like my parents, when I told them that, I want to become a coach. First, they're clueless about what that is. Second, and I told them how I do it and what I do. They're like, oh, so you talk and make money. And I'm like, yes and yeah, sort of, right? So the funny thing is, I got into this career and this occupation because I had a coach when I was 19. Now, for all you listeners or, people who are watching, I was a totally different person up until I was 19 years old. I cannot speak on stage. I am the kind of person who cannot even raise my hand in class to talk.
Okay.
I am the kind of students in uni, in high school, whatever, right? I am the invisible one, right? See, in school, you have a few kind of people, right? One is those who are leader, the one that can talk, the one that can speak. You follow them.
Oh, it's a high one. Okay, sorry.
The second one is the one that, the weaker ones, the one that cannot bully, right? But no one knows the third one, which is what I call the invisible one, which is like you're neither here or there. You're not good enough to be really outspoken, but at the same time, you're also not that weak that people will bully you. But the problem with being invisible is no one see you, right? Like they don't care about you and all these things. So what happened was, long story short, when I was 19, I actually met a coach and a mentor. And I actually asked him, and he was actually an old guy. He was 45, 46 then. He was running a very big business, multi-million-dollar multinational business. And I asked him to be my coach and mentor, right? And what happened was, he helped me to rebuild my confidence. He helped me to look at things in a very different way that I've never seen before. Because up until I was 19, I was an Ipoh boy. I was only in Ipoh. I've never traveled the world. I've never even come to KL. I was just in Ipoh. I haven't seen a lot of things. But he helped me to really open up my worldview, helped me to see things that I've never seen before, gives me perspective that kind of really make me think differently.
So this guy is from Ipoh also?
No, this is actually a CEO of a company here in KL.
Then how you reach out to him? Last time no DM or no slide or slide into DM, no such thing. Yeah.
So what happened was, at the time, I was very desperate because I know I don't have confidence. I know when I come to KL 18, finish SPM, I come to KL to study in a private college, right? And I start to realize I am lagging behind. Everyone in unis are like, they speak well, they dress well, and all these things. And I am sort of like this, sort of like a big kampung boy, come to KL, never been anywhere before. English is not perfect, but at the same time, I also cannot read Chinese. Again, neither here nor there.
How you cannot read Chinese?
I can read Chinese. I can speak a little bit. I can talk Cantonese, but I cannot read, I cannot write. So neither here nor there kind of thing, right? So I was desperate. So I joined multiple sort of like clubs and societies to kind of get to know people, to build my connection, to practice a bit of, talking and meeting people and all this stuff. And I joined a youth organization, and from there I was in charge of sponsorship.
Okay.
So I managed to get connected with this CEO of a big company through another person. And I was supposed to go there to sell this sponsorship thing for an event and all this stuff. And he was nice. I mean, he's a CEO, right? He has limited time and all, but he was nice to listen to me and all these things. Obviously, the sponsorship tak jalan. But what happened was, back in those days, BlackBerry, anyone, BBM. So I managed to got his BlackBerry Messenger. It's sort of like WhatsApp-ish. Yeah. But on BlackBerry. And we connected there. And I asked him, and I really like him as a person. So I decided that, you know what? Why not just give it a try? And when I meant try is, I straight away asked him, can you be my mentor? Can you guide me, in becoming, how do I climb the corporate ladder? That's what I was desperate for. Because my goal at that time was very simple. I want to climb the freaking corporate ladder. I want to become the general manager of Microsoft by the age of 30 years old. I have no idea how. It's just something that crossed my mind. And I asked him, can you teach me how to climb the corporate ladder? But obviously,
But this one haven't graduated yet.
Oh yeah, I was only 19.
Are you still in touch with this uncle?
Yes, he's actually a coach right now. So so he retired from his full-time CEO job. And he's right now also a coach. So we're actually in touch. We've always been in touch here and there, hi-bye kind of thing. But recently we've been getting connected again, closer. Because we're all now trainers, speakers, coaches. So he's learning from me. I'm also kind of like learning a little bit other things from him and stuff. So we're building that relationship. And that's how I got into coaching. Because he told me that, in the past 9 months, he mentored me for 9 months. And he told me, actually, Cafe, while I'm mentoring you, I actually have some motive. And then he gave me a form. I'm like, what is this form? So he gave me this form. This form is actually a feedback assessment form. So what happened was, he was actually doing his coaching certification. He needed to fulfill his hours by doing free coaching for other people. So he decided to coach me. And we did that for 9 months. So I have to fill up the assessment. That's the first touch point I have to coaching. And I'm like,
this time we can bleep it up.
okay. I'm like, you did this and my life has totally changed. And then I asked myself, what if I do this same thing to all these people who hated uni? Because I was studying, right? And I see a lot of people, they come to uni, they have no idea what they want. They're clueless about, what's the next step for them. They're clueless about, what should I do? How can I improve myself and all these things? So I'm like, if I can do this for the uni students and change their life, wouldn't that be good? So that's how I got started. So I took a certification and I started coaching university students, in slowly, gradually moving into corporate, and right now, doing a lot more corporate leadership work as well.
But coaching always been very cool. Like I got in touch with a coach only when I joined the big corporation. Then because we are part of the talent team, every month there will be like 2 trainings for the entire year. So
that's very good.
Yeah, very good for y'all. We whole day eat hotel buffet food only. To me, got training, free food. That's for me.
That's
only
the problem.
Only free food for 3 days, and like, so only when you start to get into like, there's this occupation, but then the energy level is so different from reality. Because in that, you need to be a safe space, you need to be open, you need to be hyped out, right?
Correct.
But when we go into business meeting, construction, site meeting, right? We throw helmet lah, throw paper lah. We got such thing we cannot apply one, which is then like, then only when I got to know you, right? When you say like, when 19, you got to know this kind of thing. How I wish a lot of audience got to know also. And what triggered my invitation to you today is there's a guy that asked me to be his mentor. I dare not say yes. Like, based on what? I'm still sorting out things myself. Like, who am I to provide solutions? Then what would be your response then? Like,
I think one thing about being a mentor is there's too much expectations that you place on yourself as a mentor. I think for many people, like what you mentioned just now for yourself as well, it's really who am I to be a mentor? I'm still figuring things out, and I'm also, lacking in certain things and all these things. But I think we all need to remember, and all the audiences can also, pay attention to this, right? Mentor is someone that is always a step ahead of you.
Oh, okay.
So as long as you are a step ahead of that person, you should be able to mentor and provide guidance to this person. And being a mentor also means that person, the mentee, wants to be like you, right? I want to be able to have multiple properties like, like you, like Sean, right? I want to be able to have the kind of lifestyle as Sean. I want to be able to have that work ethic like Sean. It's like, but how do I build that? I want to learn from you. Teach me everything. How do you do it every day? That's mentorship, right? That's why mentor and coaching is a little bit different. Because mentor is, I want to follow you. That's it. Coaching, on the other hand, is really about you finding the answers and discovering and deciding for yourself what you want. That's the key difference. So my answer to this then is, as long as you're always a step ahead of someone, you have something to give. That's number one. Number two is, I call this reverse mentoring. So one thing that many people don't realize is, people thought that mentoring is just, I teach you things, you do it, you go home, bye-bye kind of thing. But to be fair, as a mentor, actually there's always some selfish reasons. It's like, I can also learn something from you. I mentor because I like it and I feel good doing it. Also nothing wrong, right? But most importantly is a reverse mentoring, which is ask yourself also, okay, if I choose to mentor this person, what can I learn from this person? If I choose to mentor this person, what can I also get out of this mentoring relationship? Sometimes it could just be, I will mentor because I want to practice how to speak to people one-on-one, So it's always about a synergy, reverse mentoring. What can you get from the mentee when you're mentoring them?
Is it common to have monetary arrangements?
For mentoring, usually no.
Only for coaching?
Yeah, for coaching, therapy, counseling, yes. For mentoring, usually no. For mentoring, it's really a lot about whether, you just want to do it for fun kind of thing, or you just feel like doing it.
And I think mentoring has always been a very informal kind of thing.
Correct. It's like you asking people, hey, Sean, can I call you 2 hours, yum cha? I buy you coffee. Let's talk a little bit because I have a bit of, thoughts about all this property stuff. I want to...
Yeah, all the people come to me only when emergency. Then I'm like, I have a overdose caffeine kind of problem right now. So, this reminds me of me getting to know properties via my aunt. But it's a very indirect one.
Informal lah, yeah.
I ask questions, she answer. I ask questions, she answer. Then whatever lah. So it's not like a real mentor we sign up for.
Correct.
Ngak sao that they don't have.
Correct.
Then, when you officially start your coaching business?
When I was 21 years old. So 19, I've that coaching relationship with my mentor. 20, I took up a coaching certification. So I actually told my parents. It's actually not cheap, by the way.
How much? Let's say
I paid 15,000 ringgit for a coaching certification that spans across 6 months.
Is it international or is it a local one?
So coaching certification, if you take the right one, it is international because it is part of the International Coaching Federation, which is a international coaching body. So if you took it, it's under them. So it's internationally recognized by all corporations in that sense.
Does all coaches have certificate?
No. So that's a big topic on its own, right? These days, you go out on the street, you throw a stone, you probably hear someone who call themselves a coach as well. There are some coaches without, they just do it, and but to be fair, some of them are relatively good. So kudos to them. Some have proper certifications, they took up proper training, proper accreditation, they are associated with certain bodies and all this stuff. So if you are looking for a coach, just read through their CVs, understand what are the things that they wrote down there about their credibility, their association and all these things, just so that you know what you're getting into. So 20 years ago, my coaching certification. 21 years old, I started a coaching business with 2 business partners. One of them is a mentor. He's the one that got me certified. He's the one that certified me, who certified me. Another one is my best friend right now. We started at 21. Didn't really work out that well because now this is another lesson that I think maybe viewers can maybe resonate with, right? We started the business out of passion. We really believe that coaching can change the world. We really believe that, if everyone got coaching, their life would be so much better, they'll be so much happier and all these things. But then when we start the business, you start to go into all these companies and corporates and tell them, coaching can improve people's life. No. They're like, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
And reality hits. So we did that for 3 years. Didn't really work out as well as we think it should be. Then we put a stop to it. And then I did continue coaching. And then after that, I started my own coaching academy right now. A couple of years ago, registered it. And that's where I am right now. So I'm still running my own coaching business right now.
So your clients are mainly people from?
Right now, my clients, majority, about 70% of them are corporate clients, which means I do a lot of corporate trainings, corporate leadership development programs for first-time leaders, first-time managers, and leaders in corporations. So, and when I say corporations, it spans across industries. I have manufacturing, I have banks, I have...
So ultimately, the leadership is the same, right? That's
correct. Industry different, but ultimately leadership is the same. But to answer your question also just now that, sometimes certain industry, you go there, you throw people and all these things. But there are still things that's applicable in that sense. So I have a lot of clients. I have, big banks, financial institution, and all this as my clients. And another 30% is basically individuals. So individuals who come to me for one-on-one coaching, they wanted that personalized coaching. They pay out of their own pocket to improve themselves, to grow themselves, to look at their own blind spots, to challenge themselves to, become a better leader at work, or just in general become better in their life so that they can be happier and more fulfilled.
I'm very foreign to this kind of having a third person to tell me off all the time. Indirectly, it's like, that's coaching to me, right? So it's like when I go, I don't want to do the push-up. Then I pay somebody to scream at me to do the push-ups. Yeah, so I think that's the same thing, I guess, for work, for wellness, for life, right? So that's what you do, right? So
in a sense, in a sense.
So in all aspects.
Yes, in all aspects. Because how do we look at this is, I'm not a financial coach. I'm not, let's say, property coach or other coach. I am a lot more on peak performance and life coach. What that means is that I help people to look at 3 things. Number 1, mindset. Number 2, heart set. Number 3, hand set. What does that mean?
Heart set.
Yes. Heart basically your emotion. Yes.
Sanubari, bukan heart.
Sanubari. Your emotion. And then hand set basically is your skills and your tools. Now the thing is, out of these 3 things, skills is the easiest.
Yes.
Because the moment you Google, you get everything. But if everything is available on Google so easily, so why is not everyone
at their
peak or doing their best? The answer is the other 2, the heart set and the mindset, right? And so a lot of my work revolves around mindset and heart set, which means what I do is, no matter if you're having difficulty in your relationship, if you are having a little bit of challenges in your workplace, you find it difficult to become a better leader, you find it difficult to speak up at work. The problem is not the work most of the time. The problem is how you see the work. The problem is your mindset towards the work. The problem probably is how you associate or attach emotions, meaning to the work. So my job as a coach is to help you to look at all these things, change the way you think, change the way you feel about all these things, so that then when you get to work or when you're in your relationship, you can become a better person. Yeah. So that's what coaching really is. I coach the person. I don't coach the issue or the problem.
That makes a lot of sense though. Like if you're in a workplace, right? Yes, they will arrange a senior for you, right? But the unfortunate truth is, the better you are as an employee, the bigger you are as a threat as well.
Yeah.
Because if I were to coach you so well, then you become so much better than me, cheaper than me. It means that I gotta go. Because there's only one GM, there's only one
director.
Yeah, so that's why when I was in corporate, I don't really fancy. That's why they arrange all mentors for us, like for the special talents, right? Then all my mentors are now MDs around all companies. So that's the connection. That's a bonus point for me.
Oh, nice.
But then, do we really have conversations? Not really. Just because it's a task assigned by the company.
By the company, yeah.
Okay, we need to spend 1 hour together, right? So we sit down. He just replies his email for an hour. Oh. I just eat for an hour.
Oh, God.
So then, happy, then we just sign the form with each other. But then, for other people, of course, because mine was too far away, was like director versus an exec.
A new joiner. So
Yeah, I didn't even know how to start, right? And how would you advise, like, let's say a person who really wants to, like, it would be a very politically incorrect answer for me to say that you're not making enough. Whenever they come to me, hey, I want to invest in properties. I got this salary, right? Whatever, like, let's say 2008 or 3002. I want to invest like you, like, no, you can't.
Yeah.
It's a very harsh reality slap. But then, like, you just need to work harder. That's the easiest answer I can give. Technically, like, just work harder.
Yeah.
Because I cannot tell you to be smarter. I cannot tell you to be more motivated. You need to change your habits. What would be your suggestion then?
But I think you, on the other hand, then have the perspective that the person might not see, which is then becoming a coach, right? Because if you become a mentor to that person, you'll be like, your salary is 2.8. The reality is you cannot. You cannot do what I'm doing right now, which is fair.
Yeah.
But then you can then shift your hat and become a coach in a sense and help this person, okay, I know you're making only 3K, but how can you improve yourself so that you can get promotion faster in the next 1 year?
Yeah.
Right? That's what I would do as a coach, because obviously I can't change your salary, but I can do as a coach to help you see your blind spot. I can help you, I can ask you questions to really help you to discover, probably there are a few things that I'm not doing well enough in the firm. That's why people don't see me. That's why in the past, 6 months or whatever, during performance review and all these things, I don't get good ranks and all these things. So less bonus and all these kind of different things, right? So that's what you can do.
Yep.
It's become the third person. Basically, every single person has blind spot.
Yeah.
And it's called blind spot because you yourself cannot see it. So our job is to help people, actually my job is to help people to see that blind spot, help them to find solutions to manage that blind spot so that they can become better.
I agree. So I'll put his links below so you can kacau him, don't kacau me.
Slide into DMs.
Yeah, slide into his DM. Because like the saying like I always have is, last time I didn't like training. Like I say, I just go in for the food only, until you are so sick of hotel food already. But after I came out, then only I realized the difference of all the trainings I went to. The company put in a lot of money, obviously.
Yep.
Then the normal executives, the normal tier workers, right? What they get is the HR trainers who attended the training somewhat drop in some pointers to share.
Oh, okay.
It's not the Ori.
It's not the actual training.
So like that's the 7 habits.
7 habits, Stephen Covey.
6 hats.
6 thinking hats.
Then the presentation alive. A lot lah. So I realized after I go through all this, right, because they are homework and it's compulsory, so okay, I just need to follow and just complete it, right? Not make the trainer look like a dumbass, right? Okay, we finish everything, then not knowing that it improved. So when I get promoted in the workplace, I thought it was given, not knowing that it was coached, as per se. So only when I meet back on my peers who are not within the program, right, suddenly I thought it's common sense. No.
Some people don't have it, right?
Yeah, that way then this hits hard when you say blind spot, right? Even the best players of any sports in the world have coaches.
That's right.
Takkan the coach will be better than, like, let's say Lee Jong-wei, right? Even Lee Jong-wei got coach. You think the coach can beat Lee Jong-wei? He's already world number 1.
Yeah, correct.
Right? So that's often the point where I think when I was younger, I used to have this, like, I'm the best already. There's practically nothing. No one is doing what I do. No one can teach me what I do. Right? Then what would be your advice to people like that at that state?
I think some of the high performers that I've coached, and I've coached many, right, in terms of different background, different nationalities, the Westerns, the Asia and all this. I think what's most important is when you know that you're already at the peak, I think you have to ask yourself a question. What's next? Right? And for me, that question is a question of not the surface level answer. Because most of the time, if you ask someone who's high performing or whatever, right, I'm the director of this, director of that, when you ask them, what's next? A bigger company, the next level, CEO lor, MD lor, the title lah, right, basically. But sometimes we have to go a little deeper, which is when I say what's next, it's your life. Look into all areas of your life. You might be doing very well in your career, but how much time are you spending with your kids? You might be doing very well with your career, but you forget your wife's birthday. You might be doing very well with your career, but you have no idea how you're spending your money, right? And that's the reality. It's, most people lack, when they're good at something, they lack in certain things. And the goal here is, of course, as human beings, is to be able to balance everything and then be happy and fulfilled with all these things that we have done, right? So for me, to all these people who are at the peak, they just don't feel that there is a next step. I think that's the next thing that you need, which is having clarity about what you want in your life.
That is so good.
Because I want to touch a little bit more on this, because over the past few years, right, I actually have a lot of young professionals. So when I say young professionals, these are high flyers. They work in big firms. They climb very fast. By the age of 35, between 30, 35, right, they're already earning 5 figure, per month and all these things. Really good title, head of something, director of something, and all these things. And they actually came to me. Kafi, I have all this money. I have no idea what I'm doing with my life, right? But the thing is, some of you might be thinking, oh, that person in the wrong job, I don't like the job, but it's not. The person get paid very well to do things that he's good at. And he doesn't seem to hate it. He's, you know what, I'm okay. I kind of like the job, but it's just, there are certain things I don't like, right? I don't like to manage the people and all these things. But this person is just confused. I have all this money, I have all this title and career. Something is missing. And that's what I meant, a fulfilling life, which is this person spends so much time working, making the money. Again, nothing wrong with making money, but forgot to look at all other aspects of life to kind of really make his life more holistic or more fulfilling.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is something, right, where I realize you can only make such statements after you've been there. Right? Like you say, it's very easy to say that life is more than just money. But usually you only realize that after you have money.
Yeah.
Right? So when a lot of people come to me about property investment, right, why do I go all out in building cash flow vehicles? It's so that I have more time. I'm trying to buy time, right? We just spoke about earlier, without kids, right, suddenly property investment wouldn't make sense. Right? What for? I enjoy working. I spend all my time working. I don't want to quit ever. Right? I think I would die editing videos. Most likely. Right? Until my last breath, I'll just do whatever I like, right? But then when you have kids, then suddenly it's different. Right? When you gotta give them time, resources and all. Then when a person because often the time people don't see what they need especially when you come in young executive, right? Only when you're 30, these are directors. Yeah, when you see the more, there's this feeling also last time I only have when I have 1,600 ringgit, right, in my bank account, I feel this month okay. I used every month I was negative until the time when I pay all bills already, I still have balance, right?
Best feeling ever.
Yeah, wow, this is I'm free already lah. But then when I have 10, 20 times more now, right, I feel damn poor because you look at others, right? When you are in that level, then only you see way more things. Then you only feel way smaller. Nothing, right? My house is nothing but a watch to the fella.
Good point.
Right? So when you look at that perspective, then because when a lot of people come to me 25, 28, right? I need direction, right? Last time, my way is I discover myself. We go and bang the wall and then hear bleed. Okay, this is not the way. Okay, I'm going to go all the way. So from corporate, then made some bad mistakes. Fortunate enough, I had the strength to go through, right? But for a lot of people who are just stuck, what would be the suggestion? Is there a free trial, or is there because even if a lot of free courses online, not all resonate. So I think a proper question is when you have different culture, right? When Ang Mo come and speak to you, right? Does the advice really match or not?
I think it depends on your level of personal growth, right? Because for me, having seen so much and really dive a lot into personal growth and different kind of coaching and techniques and all this stuff, I come to realize that different people are at different levels in terms of their growth. For some people, they're absolutely clueless. You tell them whatever, they will just take it literally and run with it. Sometimes they bang balls, sometimes they don't. But there are some who have been through multiple, let's say, personal development courses and all these things, and then they come to a coach with a very specific reasons, right? So it's very different in that sense. But in terms of culture-wise, I do think that the Westerners, it's a little bit more, how do I put it? A little bit more intangible. But for Asians, it's a lot more tangible. And the Asians wants the measurables, want to be able to see the result.
You cannot measure, you cannot improve.
Correct. That's but that's the challenge. Because a lot of things, for example, self-confidence. One of the things I do a lot is actually helping people to rebuild and regain their self-confidence. Especially in Asian culture, I believe we have lost our confidence that we have when we were a baby. And until we grow up, we have lost all of them, right? Same to me. So a lot of things I do is help people to rebuild their confidence. But the thing is, a lot of people don't see that it is important. Because it's like, but what has that got to do with me making 5-figure in my career? My goal now is to make 5-figure in my job so that I can buy more property, I can have kids, I can get married and all these things. But this person cannot even speak in front of the bosses. This person cannot even present for 5 minutes without stopping, without looking at the slides and all these things, right? Those has to do with your confidence, right? But people don't see it. So that's a challenge in that sense. So a lot of work that I do, it's helping people with two things. Helping them to regain their confidence and helping them to get clarity about what they want in life. And helping them to see how career is not the end goal. Most people think, especially the young ones, right? It's career is the end goal. I come out of university, I make 5-figure, make more money. Then I can buy a house, right? Then I can do this, then I can do that. It's not entirely the case. You can make, 5-6K and start buying a house, right? You can make 5-6K and start planning for your wedding or your marriage and all these things.
Yep.
But people don't see that way, right? And then I fell into that trap. So in order to get that clarity, you need to work with someone. And this someone can be a coach or it can also be a mentor. If you want to accelerate, basically what I really believe in, if you want to be successful, however you define it, faster, get a mentor or get a coach. It will make things 10 times easier and faster.
That's how I lost 16 kgs.
Exactly.
If not, it's going to be so tough.
Doing it yourself.
Yeah. Okay, so since we are in a new year kind of situation, right? So is there anything that a person can do before getting a coach? Because I think culturally, right? Oh, I'm getting a coach. And by default, fitness coach. PT, right?
Yeah.
Then no, I'm getting a behavioral coach person to boost my confidence. People say, you need help, is it? Let's say if I tell people this is my personal coach, right? PT?
What for?
No, yeah, what for? So before we address the stigma, right? What can a person do and how do they? Because there's no try run, right? There's no definite okay, I'm in this situation, I need a coach. So how do you what would be the trigger point to make people maybe I should have one?
I think if you are feeling, first category of people that I would say is if you are feeling lost and unsure, I think that's a good sign of looking for a coach or looking for a mentor. When you're feeling lost, when you're feeling like, how come I do this? I can't do it well. How come I move to the next thing? I thought I like it, but now it's not so. What really is happening, right? So when you're feeling lost and feel like you're unsure, get a coach, talk to a mentor to kind of really align that a little. That's one. Second is a group of people where you feel that you're already doing okay. It's like, I kind of like my job. I feel I'm okay. But there are certain aspects of my life that I want to become better. Let's just say, I feel that my confidence is not there. I feel that this lack of confidence is holding me back from promotion at work. I feel that I can't communicate that well with my wife or my partner and whatnot because of certain issues that I have. Go and talk to a coach, talk to a mentor, or maybe talk to a therapist or a counselor, right? So wherever you feel that there's something missing, something lacking, talk to a coach. And the good thing is, I can guarantee to you as well, is that most coaches actually offer free calls. Although, to be fair, disclaimer, yes, free calls also means they are there to also sell you their coaching. But make use of the free call. I do discovery calls for my coaching clients before they sign up or whatever. I have a 45 minutes discovery calls with them. And the main purpose of this discovery call is for me to really assess if whether I can help. Because I have instances where people actually who have really bad depression, they come looking for a coach. And that's not something that I do. When I feel that, this is a depression, mental health kind of case, I will refer them to a therapist or to psychologists in hospitals and so on. And from there, then you'll be able to really understand from that free call, you'll be able to understand what is the challenge that you have, what is the problem that you're facing, and then you go out and find the different tools or different mentors or gurus who can help you in that.
Yeah. And this is also from like personal development. When we go into YouTube or whatever, sometimes there's a lot of free resources.
Yeah.
But when your problem is low level, general advices can solve.
Correct.
But when it's like when it gets way more complicated, when it's way more specific, right? Just like my cases, like where a lot of people come to me, I want to buy my 11th property. My income is this. I got this 6 rented out, 6 whatever that I can solve, right? But if you go into any YouTube videos, right, it's very hard.
Correct.
Right? So I guess that's the same for personal coaching also, right?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's about content and context. Content is everything you can Google, right? It's basic content or how to improve self-confidence or how to whatever, right? The how to, the content is there, it's everywhere. But every human being have different contexts. Your life, your environment, your partner, your co-workers, your financial, kind of like thing. The context is very different. So that's why when you work with a coach, then the coach can look at your context and then apply different things or help you to see different things on how to solve the problem. That's the job as a coach. Again, it's all about seeing things from a different perspective, uncovering the blind spot so that you can figure out the solution.
Cool. And this is the hidden agenda for me to have you here, right? It's to somewhat improve everybody's income, as per se. Because to me, like it's a very unfortunate reality that only the rich gets to buy property.
Yeah.
Right? Rich, whether is it in terms of income or in terms of mindset lah. Same. So there's this theory that I have where income actually comes later. You have to be the person who has the ability or state to make the kind of money first.
Yep, I love it.
Right? So income is actually a byproduct of you being that somebody.
Yes.
But a lot of people pursue that as
the end.
As
the end goal.
No worries. Too accepted already. Wow. You see the point I make so powerful, no lah. But that's why if I were to come up with a merchandise, right, it would be like 2B.
I like it.
Right.
Because I also have this thing that I've been using since 2011, 2012. Be, do, have. Right? Which means you should become the person first who can have that income, who can have 10 properties and do the work that is required.
Yes.
Then you will have it.
Yeah.
The thing is, the mistake that most people do is they do it, they have it, then only they become.
Yeah.
Which is fundamentally the other side, right? So to give you some examples, it's again talk about confidence. Most people think that, I need to be able to, have the opportunity to speak more, then only I can become confident. I'm like, no, you can become confident anytime. When you think like a confidence person, when you show up like a confidence person, then you will attract more opportunity for you to speak and to present. So that's one thing that I also teach in my coaching is be, do, have.
I thought I was the only one, but no.
That's why great minds think alike.
Cool. Wow, great cover. Yeah, so that's the entire, I guess it's first official episode, for people who are watching at home, right? Like, everyone just finished the festival season. And guess what? I tweet about it. The first thing that everyone do once they come back, right, is to take leave first.
Really?
Because the entire long festival is like a chore. I need to go this place, go that place, then I need to entertain my wife, entertain my kids, go buy food or whatsoever, spend money finish already, by 15, right? We are now 2nd February, last month's income gone already.
Yeah, true.
Then like, oh, happy already now, and like base back to reality, and everything is so slow. That's why I didn't call me workaholic or whatsoever, but I didn't stop at all. I was working on New Year's Eve after reunion dinner, I go back and work. But I love it lah. So this is where like we kind of touched about before the camera rolling, like the state of ikigai. That state where I would never have came across if I didn't work for myself. Because we are always, me lah. Like work is work, hobby is hobby. You expect your hobby to give you as much income as your work, right? Dream on. I also want. Well, guess what?
You got it.
Yeah, and I really hope more people can find that state where you are absolutely responsible for your entire life. I guess that's the best part about what I'm enjoying right now. Like a lot of people, why can you wake up at 2, right? Until then you never sleep, you don't rest. How is it possible? It's not healthy. Like, no, you don't know me. I'm happy doing it. So when I get my LASIK surgery, right, one eye blind, I'm still editing. Okay, my doctor, please don't see this. But then when we do the check, everything is fine. But then this is how it's very hard for me to get away from editing right now. I cannot see. When I see, right, I cannot not work. So like for 3 days after the surgery, I cannot touch anything, right? I got emo. Because everything is pending. There's so many answers. There's so many questions I want to answer. There's so many what I want to do, but I cannot. Then I guess the solution for me is to work. So suddenly when I get back to work, right, wow, all problems solved to me lah. So that's my path, and I guess I'm fortunate enough to find it. So I hope with this everyone can be aware or woke about this entire process, right? Like career is not everything, right?
Yep.
Like the misconception of people respecting the chair, not the person.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's a very hard reality check for me when my boss, CEO, at 45 still needs to go for an interview. So like
Crazy.
At 45, you are earning like maybe 80,000 a month. You still need to go for interview. Why you choose this company? My God.
Why does that interview there in the first place, right?
Yeah. So when I'm not saying that everyone to have their own thing, but I encourage at this kind of day and age, right? Everyone can do anything.
Yeah, and one thing I just want to really talk a little bit more about the ikigai. I love the concept to a point where I have it tattooed on my arm here, right? But the more work I do about helping people and helping people to discover their life purpose and their ikigai and whatnot, I actually also realize that there are a lot of people who are very happy in their job. Right? As much as we probably see a lot of a lot of people are unhappy in the job, entrepreneurship is the way to go. I actually see a little bit of the flip side.
Yep.
Which is a lot of people actually enjoying the job, making good money, although they are stressed. Again,
everyone's stressed.
Hello, running your own business is stressful, right? What I really found out, the sweet spot is really having the awareness that ikigai can be multiple things. So ikigai basically is a concept of the sweet spot of doing what you love, getting paid to do what you love, doing what you're good at, and the last one is doing what the world needs, right? So the sweet spot is doing all four, and I think Sean is doing all that, right? He's doing exactly what he wants. But for some people, it could be other things. For some people, it could be, I'm really good at doing consulting, doing taxation, and Big Four hire me, pay me 30 grand, a month, and the person love it, by all means do it.
Yep.
But what about the other aspect? Then maybe you can use that money to start a charity gig, to start a social enterprise. You fund people to run a social enterprise, and you like it, and you enjoy it, and you love it, right? So, and I talked about this in my TEDx talk called Multi-Passionate. That's what that's what I believe in. It's human being is multi-passionate. We can be good at different things, multiple things. We can want different things and multiple things at the same time. And we can actually do all of that if we choose to, right? So my big lesson to everyone who's listening, it's don't just bog yourself to think that I must have all these four things in one kind of like career or one business. It doesn't necessarily have to be that way. Because I really fundamentally believe when you're able to do all these four things in different ways, you will still feel happy and fulfilled in your life. And that for me is the most important thing. Feeling happy and fulfilled.
Yeah, happiness. But happiness, this is a metric that I hold onto myself. Every day wake up, hey, happy, right? Okay, check. Then can already. Not, of course, money settle, property settle first lah, right? Of course. But then, yeah lah, I think with cafe around, right? I think we just make sure to put in your link below so everyone can go somewhat find out. But if corporate setting, so in one setting you will coach a group of people lah, right?
Yep. So usually I do corporate training, which means, I go into the company, I design a training program, different kind of topics and whatnot. And I train about 20, 25 people at one go. And then for some companies, they wanted the training to be more effective. Then they do coaching, which is, okay, cafe, training done, 20, 25 people. Now let's go into small group coaching so that it can be more personalized. Remember content and context. The training is the content. I deliver all the content. You learn it. You practice yourself. Good. But sometimes in different contexts, it's different. How do you apply what you learn in different contexts, different setting, different group of people and whatnot? So I do a little bit of that small group coaching. And I also do one-on-one leadership coaching as well. So I work with C-1, C-2 to develop their leadership competency, to become better leader, to be able to lead better in the workplace.
Yeah lah. Good lah to work in such companies, right?
I learned a lot actually. That's one thing that I found really, really interesting. It's the more I coach, the more I learn. That's what I realized. It's a benefit. I get paid in a sense to learn as well. Yeah.
You wouldn't have access to those C-suites or C-1 and 2, right?
Correct.
So cool. Okay, so now let's talk about your first property. At what age you got your first property?
Oh, 27, I believe. 26 or 27.
So this is at the same time where you run your own business already lah?
No. So I ran my business when I was 21 until 21 until 24, 23, 24. And then I mentioned just now, the business didn't really work out. And I got headhunted to join another company. And I got headhunted to join the company to actually do coaching. So in a sense, I don't need to run my own business. I got hired internally to do coaching. And I love coaching. I decided to join. And they paid really good, salary in that sense. So I was working there for 5 years. Before, again, pre-COVID, before COVID started coming out again, full-time on my own. So at that period of time when I bought the property, I was actually a full-time employee in a company. And I guess that's what helped me to actually get the property.
Yeah. So like for those entrepreneurs want to be or whoever, right?
Yeah.
It's not as easy to qualify for loans. You need 3 years solid transactions, right? Everything only. Then you submit everything, then your income tax must be in order, everything must be in order. Only banks will consider giving you.
Exactly. That's the benefit of being an employee.
Yeah.
Access to loan, it's way easier, I believe.
So they look at the company, right? Which company you work at, you give them a name. Okay, other people need 7 months, 8 months salary, right? You 3 months can already.
Yep.
So like for employees, right, do leverage on the good side of things before you want to venture into your side gig or whatsoever.
True.
Then, from Ipoh boy, how did you decide to get where? How do you decide on the location to get?
A few things. Number one, obviously, we started off with a budget, right? So at the time, my then girlfriend, now wife, was working. I was working. So we are like, okay, this is what we're comfortable with. This is the budget. Let's take a look around. So we actually spent like 4 or 5 months just going around almost every other weekend to look at different properties, new projects, sub-sale, and all these different places. And so first one is the budget. Second one is actually location. So the thing is, I've actually spent, before I purchased the house, I've spent 10 years living in Bangsa. And that was like the best location ever. It's like, if I have all the money in the world, I'll buy Bangsa. I don't care. I don't care what Sean say. I don't care whatever. So I'll just buy Bangsa.
Okay, buy it too.
I'll buy Bangsa, right? But obviously the time, possible, the development there and even all the old landed houses is way expensive, requires a lot of refurbishment and all. So we go around. So what happened was, there we decided, we want to buy a house because we want to start a family, right? And family means you want to have kids and all these things. Then we're like, where should we consider? we should consider a place that is close to my wife's sister.
Yeah, close to family members.
Close to family members, right? So that if anything, we get help. That's when we kind of came across
okay.
where
I
we are.
obviously know where he stay.
Yeah.
And I got to know after I reviewed the place.
Correct. I got to know you because you reviewed that place.
Oh, okay.
So I went to check it out.
Luckily I say good things. But yeah, it's a very awesome place and it's next to Mont Kera, right?
Yeah.
We're right next to Mont Kera, and Mont Kera has always been like almost like a Bangsa level kind of tier, just that everything is high rise.
Yes.
So last time you stay in Bangsa is
Landed. It's a townhouse.
Oh,
Yeah.
so a lot of people actually stays there, like for my audience.
Yeah. That's a really amazing place. Go to KL, go to BJ, everything is near. But, cannot afford.
A lot of people always telling me, oh, Bangsa go to KL is very near. Bangsa is KL.
True.
Like, I stay in Damansara, go to KL very easy.
Yeah, it's KL.
Yeah. Lor. So, but was there any scary points when you made that?
Yes, very. So what happened was, right, the property that we are living in right now, the one that we bought, right, is actually not our choice.
Oh.
We do a lot of Googling, research, whatever. This property didn't appear. What happened was we actually went to that area to look at the one next door.
The one with your ass one.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And we went to the one because, again, budget-wise, it fits. Location seems okay. So we wanted to check out that one. And we went through it. Budget looks okay. Pricing looks okay. Everything actually looks okay. And the developer is actually established.
Yeah.
And I'm like, macam okay. We almost put in deposit. And then we saw that, how come there's another development next door?
And the damn still construction.
Still construction. They're constructing the first block. The first phase already sold.
Yeah.
So it's like, another property there. Why don't we have a look since it's just next to each other? So location-wise, everything okay. So we went to check it out. Then we really loved that. But there was a scary point, which is it's a private developer. This is their first residential project.
Yeah.
And that was the scariest part. Because, I talked to a few people, do a bit of Googling. The most scary thing about buying properties that's not built yet, is still under construction, is what if the property
Abandoned,
right? The developer run away, whatever. So we're like, so how should we, which one? We really love this second one, because it's low dense, location-wise and everything. It's budget-wise. So it's like, how? So that was the scary part. It's really, really scary. But luckily, what really triggered us to manage to actually secure and put in the deposit was using network. So what happened was, I went around telling people about this property, and we also told my brother-in-law, which is my wife's sister's husband, right? And he told me, oh, this project sounds familiar. Then he went and chat with someone, texted someone, blah, blah, blah. Oh, the one who financed this project, the banker who financed this project is my friend. So I was like, oh, really? Then he was like, yeah. Do you think we can talk to her? Just to, to know a little bit more. So what happened was, the banker said, don't worry. You want to talk? I'm not going to talk to you. I'll call the property boss to come and meet you.
Oh, and you met him?
Yes. I met the boss. That's why I know them.
Wow.
The crazy thing is, so they say met, okay, look. Then so we went to the show house again. We met, and then so I talked to him and get to know him, get to know what are their past, projects and all these things. So it gives me a bit of assurance. I'm like, maybe okay, sounds decent now. Then what happened was, this boss is really nice. It's like, oh, which floor do you plan to get? So I'm like, oh, planning to get this level because it's a little bit more, lower level, a bit cheaper and all these things, right? So no lah, get the higher one, higher better. This one, you might be blocked lah, right? Why don't you get a higher one? And don't worry, whatever is the premium, I'll give you a discount. So that's why then I sold already. Okay, I'm taking the higher level, which is really a blessing.
Yeah.
Because the one that we wanted,
the view was
blocked. Yeah. So it's like, oh, thank God, man. So again, network is important. Ask for help. Try to talk to people. That is really helpful.
So just to share also, like the developer that you bought from, right? It's a boutique developer. And in Singapore, you can see that the developers and all. They are one of my favorite gym of all. If you do CrossFit especially, you have the monkey bars, the the box for jumping.
Yeah, TRX.
Everything. And I seek now, not so secretly anymore, but now kind of secretly pushing boutique developers.
Oh.
Because I give them way more time, way more effort, and knowing that their budget is way lesser compared to public listed. I'm not saying public listed ones are not good, just that the mechanism of design is very different. Like, imagine a public listed company launching 15 projects a year. Everything is designed on Excel.
Really?
Yeah, property developers, most of the time, the feasibility, the financial side of things needs to work first before you go into details like the lobby design, entrance design. So
priority.
Yeah, so financially need in this because I need to answer to a lot of stakeholders.
True.
But then when you have boutique developers, or you have the boss serving you, right? Then telling you like the experience I had with the son's boss.
Boss's son.
Boss. The boss's son is when he talks about how he set down the aircon latch like 500 mm lower, so the aircon latch will be right under the window. So you kind of have that hot air going outwards, but you still get to enjoy the view and whatsoever.
Okay.
So it's those very small details kind of thing. Or the gym was how they mounted the steel instead of whatever lah, right? So you then, okay, so this is the point where you are paying way less than a public listed company one. If you look into right opposite, right?
Yep.
So it's like maybe 15-12% lesser, but way more value for money. But the unfortunate side is the uncertainty, lor.
Yeah.
And even with HDA, meaning the Housing Development Act, which enforce all these developers to be really financially strong first before getting the license to build, there are still cases where people just walk away lah.
Yeah.
So there's this project that reached out to me where the developer is officially winded up.
Oh.
And the project is halfway. Then the community who bought now are reaching out to me. So maybe next episode we get them in to share. Because a lot of people don't know this. When you buy a abandoned project, I buy this, then you build halfway abandoned, right? The bank finance kind of like 35% already. I will need to pay installment for the 35% one.
Yep.
So after you finish the 35%, meaning what do you get? You get the whatever that was built lah.
Yeah. The runker, right?
You get the structure and some cables and the window frame if you're lucky. But you cannot move in because you don't have CCC, you don't have anything. So for years until somebody wished to come and take over.
And then
continue. So that's very, very hard, and that's always been a fear. And I think a lot of people forgot about this fear already because of the big brands that was doing a great job lah. So until when you see the very famous project next to Pavilion stop work because the contractor changed, right? They changed contractor. Then that's a 2,004 per square feet project.
Oh God.
Yeah. So I don't feel sad at all because people who can pay that kind of money and don't really need it. Right?
Good point.
But then like it's not like people's home. This is like a fancy trophy property. You see, I got next to Pavilion. But my point is, we kind of take for granted of the developers that we have in Malaysia. Even if we go to like this kind of brands that goes overseas and build, right? Our developers are tip top.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, because a lot of people like in US, if you talk about developer, is they build one house.
True. Yeah.
Then they furnish everything in the house. We call them contractor. Our developers here build like 30 billion projects in like 3 years kind of thing. Like 1 year you build 1 billion GDP, right? So very good insight about buying from a non-public listed company. I guess
that's
a good
one.
Because of my access that I go in, basically I speak to the boss really lah.
Yeah.
So like you need to go through bankers. I'm like, wow. So are you into investment for properties?
Not so actually. So again, probably I should have known Sean earlier when I buy property. So sort of max out the loan. And also probably, from Sean's last year's episode, don't buy a house in a joint name with your wife.
Oh, too late already lah.
Too late already lah.
Yep.
So at the time both of us were really ready, and we are like already thinking about all these things. And so that's the reason why we decided to, let's look for a place together for.
But it looks comfortable, like the things they put on social, right? That's like dream life kind of thing. Like you have all the space in the world, the view, then you get to meditate with such beautiful view, and you can meditate ma. The picture, you already see the traffic like what the right? Then you have room for your kid, their own. Wow.
So that's why even after watching that episode, I'm like, never mind lah. I'm still very happy. I'm still very happy with the house. So obviously then have to look at alternative investments, all this well.
I think it's not right or wrong kind of thing. It's like what you want kind of thing.
Correct.
Right. So like my wife will be, I think she's okay already now, but if she's not aware or we don't communicate enough, right? Why people got we don't have? Why you need so many investment but not a home? Right? So last time a lot of people will come to me, you got so many properties, bro, and you're still renting a place, bro. Then like, what's wrong with that? To me, I get to save the DSR to buy more. Like, hello. But then like, again, the communication and the blind spot, you know what you know.
Correct.
Right?
And you don't know what you don't know as well. So it's a lot about communication and sharing that. That's why me and my wife, we were very clear. Like, it's like, you know what? We will do it together. We decided to do it. And at least, to be fair, like for us, property investment hasn't been something that we've been thinking about anyway. So we're like, you know what? Let's just do it.
But you're so young. I think anytime you want to invest, you just give me a call only. I got a lot of listing you want to buy, but how I wish I can buy all. But anyway, so if people were to come to you and they want to ask for advice or a try or the feel or whatever, right? So they can just reach out to you in...
Yeah. So if anyone who wants to speak, to learn a little bit more about coaching, to even look for a coach yourself.
Oh yeah, you are now upgraded already. So you've coached the coach already, right?
Yes. So 2023 is the year where I've decided to venture next step, which is after 10 years of coaching. I started 21, I'm 33 now. I wanted to help more people to become coaches. And simply because I felt that after having kids, future maybe one more, right? There's only that much time I have. And there's only that much coaching I can do. But what I realized then is if I want to do more coaching, I can train other people to do more. And that's what I want to live. That's the legacy that I want, which is training more good coaches, trainers to be able to go out there to coach more. So this year I'm studying my coaching certification where I'm training and coaching people how to become a coach at an affordable price, not the price that I paid last time, 15K. I'm charging way less, 1/3 of it, to help people to become a coach. So that's what I'm doing right now. And
cool.
So if you want to know more about coaching, feel free, slide into my DM and whatnot. Also, I also still do coaching, obviously. So if you need coaching, if you want to, sort of like talk to me about how can I get a coach, what should I look at, all these things, again, drop me a DM. We can either get on a call or I can reply you on Instagram and whatnot, and then we can take it from there.
Cool. No need to feel paiseh, man, right? Because free, to me, I will just DM. Right? And he's friendly and all. And I think if you do this program, it's also an opportunity for those who always like advising or consulting people.
Correct.
It's kind of like that starting point of a side gig or whatsoever.
Correct. Yeah, and that's the big lesson that I actually tell a lot of people. So, the funny thing is, between 2019 to throughout the whole pandemic, right, I actually have like 30, 40, 50 people actually came and asked me, some strangers, some are friends, who DM me or Facebook message me and ask me, Cafe, do you have time for coffee? And every time someone asks me that question, I'm very scared.
It's either insurance or...
Exactly. Either insurance or MIM, right? But all of them actually say, Cafe, I want to buy you coffee because I want to learn from you how to become a coach. I want to learn from you how to start that journey of becoming a coach. And all of these people, almost all of them, I meet them or I either talk to them, text them and whatnot. I give them one very simple advice is start coaching as a side gig. Because your work experience will complement your coaching a lot in the future.
Yeah.
So that's why I realized after failing the business in the first 3 years, it's like, I love coaching. I think I'm relatively good at it, but it's just that they're still lacking a little bit of things. And after working for 5 years internally in a business, in a personal growth company, that's why I realized that there's a lot of things that I can do better, right? So that's something that I learned, which is you can learn coaching, turn it into a side gig, do it for fun, do it for passion. Eventually, you can turn it into a business. It doesn't have to be a business. That's number one, right? Number two, coaching is also a skill that you can use in your workplace. Again, Google has done this research. They have done this study across all their offices around the world, different nationalities, different backgrounds, different culture, different team. From technical team, IT technology team to people team, whatever team. They found that good leaders are good coaches. The team that is performing well, the team that is happy, the team where the people don't resign and stay longer, it's because their leader is a good coach. So if you think coaching is only about, branding yourself on social media and all these things, no. Coaching is also about you becoming a better leader in the workplace. So that's the two main things I really want to encourage people to take up coaching, because it's not just a career. It is a tool that you can use for life.
Why people speak so composed? My one everywhere. Anyway, so I think so happy to have you here. Thank you so much.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
So for you guys, right, the ultimate thing is like if you are passionate about it, so this is like extra revenue, so we can buy more properties together, invest in more properties together. If not, at least be happy.
Yeah.
Be happier, right? And I guess that's all for today. I will just put his details below. And I guess that's all for today. Thank you very much again. Happy New Year, guys. See you guys. Ciao.